Hey, what's up everybody? Video 44 coming at you with another video. Alright, so tried myself another one of those Chick-fil-A meals. Well, not a meal, just a sandwich. Their spicy chicken deluxe is the best sandwich I've had from them thus far. You know, I liked it better than their club sandwich. And of course I tried their salad, what was it called? The Cobb salad a couple days ago, which was really good as well. So they accidentally gave me the wrong sandwich last time I ordered the club sandwich, so I was able to try their regular chicken sandwich, which is like 2 pieces of bread, chicken breast, and like 2 pieces of what do you call it? Pickle. But that wasn't quite what I wanted, and it's just what they gave me. So I was fine with it. It actually tastes pretty good. The bread was fantastic. So their sandwiches are good, man. In fact, the club sandwich was the one that I liked the least, which is what I normally order the most in places. But yeah, this was the best one. That really was good. So I've just been eating that lately since they have such good sandwiches. And I've been running to switch up my diet a little more. Give myself more of a variety and keep eating the same stuff over and over and over again. So that's really what it is for me. I just appreciated that I can finally discover Chick-fil-A. And after all these years of people talking about them, now I see what the hoopla is. They really specialize in sandwiches from what I see now. So good stuff. Definitely love that their spicy chicken sandwich deluxe. Very, very good. So yeah, man, I ran out of space. My Lakers rant went on a little too long, and as I was telling you guys, since I re-uploaded all of my art, now I just simply have too many pictures to that take up too much space, especially since I've been adding to it. I got what, 81,000 pieces of art that have now been done over the last 3 years. So it's one of those situations where if you're going to keep all that stuff plus all the other pictures that I have, which don't include the 700 photos of playlist art, and, you know what I mean? It's just, my phone doesn't hold that much space, so I'm not going to be able to have some of the same conversations unless I want to delete some of that, and I'm not intending to. So I only got like 20 more minutes to talk. And of course, since they've slowed down my upload timing, I haven't been able to make the videos as frequently as I would like to. So that's a double down on the issue as well. That long Laker video I just made probably not gonna get uploaded till like 7 or 8 p.m. tonight. So, you know, I'm just gonna do the best I can, man. I can't do nothing but that. But yeah, man, right now I'm walking down to Target on Sunset, as I always do. Walk off that sandwich and buy all the stuff that I normally want to buy at Target. You know, I just prayerful for people, man. As I go through what I go through, I recognize that while I've been going through what I go through, we've had this horrible genocide taking place that I've been talking about. Probably every third video I make is about my understanding of what I'm seeing over there and just helping people get what I'm getting from that situation. And you know, the latest thing is just it's almost election time in America, so our politicians are acting like they really care about what we care about, no matter what it is. And so in this situation, a good portion of the people have been speaking to them, and then they've been ignoring naturally. But you know, speaking about what's going on over there in Gaza, speaking about how we don't like this unwavering support that our government has for Israel and what it's intending to do. And I just don't think that they're holding Israel accountable for the same things they would hold all of us accountable for. They're not. And they're doing it for reasons that have not at all been explained to us, because quite honestly, they probably wouldn't add up at all any of them if they tried to. And then you see stuff like the young boy who passed away, who had cerebral palsy. 9 years old, starved to death out there due to what took place there. And then you see them mocking him. You know what I mean? You see they put E.T.'s structure around his face and say this is the E.T. sequel and stuff like that. You just see them making fun of the kid, you know, that they starved to death. You hear about the aid that they sent from our country to Gaza, and from what people have been telling us, those of us who follow closely, the same ones who've been showing us all of the dead children and all the various different horrors, what they're essentially telling us is that the majority, and the word they use, I've seen more than once, is majority of the aid that the U.S. has sent Gaza has come there rotten. That's the word that was used, rotten food, outdated and rotten. So they're purposefully sending people trash that they can't actually eat, and they're calling it aid. And so all of us who think they're sending aid over there, it's not actually aid, it's rotten food. Stuff that we otherwise wouldn't know unless we knew of people with boots on the ground like I do. That's the thing. Like, I don't think they quite understand that the majority of the people who are up in arms about this are now following people who are there. And we're not following just the media or the overall, like, just the overall group that takes their information from these people. We're following those people because a lot of those groups provide the links to their sources. Unlike America, who wants to hide their sources for their own personal reasons in a lot of cases, the Palestinian media and those who are following this process are giving us an opportunity to connect with these people ourselves. So it's like I follow probably over 500 or 600 Palestinian people. Some of them in the media, some of them are just private citizens. And they're the ones that are saying this online. They're the ones on IG telling us, yo, the stuff that we're getting from your country, it's bad. Like, they're not sending us aid. They want you to think they're sending us aid. They're not. They're sending us rotten food. So it's like, this is what the government needs to understand. Like, we're talking to people. We're not just listening to you or maybe listening to a broader CNN-like source. Nah, they're talking to human beings, man. They're telling us what's happening. They're showing us pictures of what's going on around them. And we follow the broader CNN-like sources out there that appear to hold a lot more credibility to what is actually consistent to what we're seeing. So that's why I come to you guys with so much confidence when I speak this way. It's not because I'm listening to someone tell me what's going on. It's because I've seen so much footage of this from people who are out there, who are not famous, you know, and the famous ones. Saying, I'm telling you what they're telling me, what they're showing me. And quite honestly, I think I genuinely believe a lot of the people who are in support of this are not actually seeing what we're seeing. They're hearing us talk about it and they understand how bad it is, but they're not experiencing it to a point where it leaves them with nightmares. You understand? They're not seeing it. They're avoiding it. That's what I think is happening in a lot of those cases. We, the advocates, are watching this. Those who are supporting it, a lot of them, they don't have the stomach to see what it is we're looking at. And they would rather believe we're liars and just a bunch of crazy people. And that's just what it is. But they're not seeing the carnage, man. They're not seeing the carnage. They don't want to face the actual horrors of what it is they support. And that's unfortunate. This isn't the 1500s. You can't just annihilate an entire people without there being some individuals who are watching this with their phones, showing it to others. We're watching it. I've seen with my own eyes the horrors of what this looks like. Day in and day out for 153 days, y'all. That's why I talk about this every 3 days, because I've literally traumatized myself with this. Constantly. 153 days straight. Every day. Multiple bodies, fam. This is not hearsay. This ain't me just sitting up here saying, yo, it's kind of okay. No, it's not okay, fam. The things that I've seen, you would not want to see. And I'm not even there. I don't even have the curse of saying, yo, this is going on around me. No, it's just bad enough in my phone. Can you imagine the children that are seeing this? I saw footage today of 8-year-old boys carrying the body of babies, unalived, starving children who haven't eaten in months, carrying their bodies of their little siblings in the hot sun to bury them. Like, that's what I'm trying to get people to understand. These are things that my mother, in all of her life, she never seen anything like that. You know, maybe my brother, who did tours overseas, may have seen some things like this. But your regular citizens, you live your whole life, you'll live 100 years without seeing stuff like this. This is the type of stuff that your country has censored you from. They never will let you see anything like this. They didn't even let art show you stuff like this. You understand what I'm saying? They didn't even put this stuff in your video games. And so that's what I'm telling y'all. Like, a lot of you live a very comfortable life and you want to support whoever you want to support, but you haven't actually laid eyes on what it is that I've seen and what it is that these advocates who are so passionate and who are screaming at these politicians have seen, friend. We've seen things that you can go generations without seeing, because this is all unprecedented to be seen. This is stuff that is hidden from our people. This is stuff that is hidden from our country. They don't want you to ever lay eyes on stuff like this. You understand what I'm saying? But they want to do it to people. They want to allow it to happen. And you can see by how they cover it just how far away it is from your normal way of living, from what they want to understand. You look at what's going on and you look at how they cover it and you're like, so that's what you do with other things too, huh? Like, you really do try to mold the truth to be whatever you want it to be. America, don't you? UK, don't you? Western world. Like, that's how you live. That's how you mold your people into being okay with things that would leave them up with nightmares if they were to see it the way that it actually is. And that's unfortunate, because there are people out there who we would otherwise care about if we were just traumatized enough to have seen what it is that's happened to them. That's what I understand. There's a lot of people saying go Israel, who, if they saw what Israel was actually doing day in and day out, they would start questioning if they're okay for even saying go Israel after seeing all of this. That's the truth. It's only a few who really can stomach what is actually happening there. It's only a few. And they're wired a certain way. Now, in Israel, there's a lot of people who are wired to be in support of this, because the propaganda that's embedded in their skulls, like culture in our country for sports and like culture in our country for American Idol and various different things like that, and movies, they're cultured to support this. That's what their country has basically been teaching them forever, to hate Palestinians and to appreciate their suffering. It's normal to champion their suffering and to not ask the critical questions for why that would even be abnormal. You know what I mean? And it just shows how far you can condition a people. You can really condition a people a certain way to really normalize any damn thing if you really want to. This is proving that. This proves that in the best way possible. You can condition your country to stand on their head if you really want to, and have them walk on their hands all life long. That's what this is proving to me. So long as you normalize it to such a degree where it's unwavering. If you're conventional enough, you can make anything normal. If you're convincing enough is the word, you can make anything normal. So that's what this has taught me, and it's just like what they've convinced people to think is normal in that situation. It's stuff that we don't believe is normal over here at all. You just allow for it. It's fine. Like, they can die and champion it. And it's like, yo, that's something that the rest of us who know better, we really do have a responsibility to identify, absolutely identify where this has fallen through the cracks with some of our allies. Yo, this has slipped through the cracks. Like, real bad, in a really, really, really demented and messed up kind of way. And we can act like it's fine, but that doesn't change the fact that they are growing in this mentality and will continue to push it forward as they continue to do what they do. 20 years from now, 30 years from now, 100 years from now, what gets birthed from the culture of being okay with people being terrorized, tortured, and murdered, man? Nothing. I'd imagine nothing good. We got to get around to the understanding of this. We can't just sit back and say this is fine because we benefit from the results of being kind with our allies. If our allies are massacring people by the thousands, then we have, as a responsible culture, as a sophisticated culture, we have to take a look at that and try to figure out where we've gone wrong. And I just don't think people really responsibly are doing that in this era. And then we look back at our ancestors and say, oh, how did slavery ever happen? We look back and we see what happened to the Native Americans and we just shake our heads, say, oh, it's horrible. But like, yo, that spirit for which allowed that to happen, it's alive, man. We're living it. You see it every day. You see it in your politicians. And it's like, of course this could have been allowed. Of course the last massacre could have occurred. And when that massacre energy is pointed toward you, yes, there will be people who will be fine with it. And we don't think that's even possible. But when you allow yourself to create this type of energy within your indifference, hell yeah, someone's going to point that at you someday in response to what it is you allow. Are we too selfish in our own living that we don't care that this happens to our great grandkids 100 years from now? Come on, man. Some point in time, we got to look up and say, if we're not better than our ancestors, then whatever's coming our way, it's going to hit us in the face and we're going to deserve it. And that, my friends, is something that I do not want to be coerced into by way of my government, by way of people who just aren't in love with their own image enough to represent themselves in a way that doesn't allow them to be seen this way. It's not okay to kill people. It's not okay to kill kids. It's not okay to starve people out just because you have a problem with them. That is not how you humanely represent yourself very well while having conflict simultaneously. That should be bad for business. That should be bad for every damn thing. And you try to normalize that behavior, but the moment you point it at the people who you've done it to, now all of a sudden they want to tear up the world to protect themselves. How do we allow that type of hypocrisy to pretend as if hypocrisy doesn't apply to them? Is that not irresponsible of us? I just need to ask. Is it not irresponsible to allow some to believe that hypocrisy is not a bad look for them? Because if so, how can we convince ourselves that it is a bad look for anyone? If there are some people who can just get away with every damn thing, then how can we uphold the structure of any damn thing? Ask your politicians that when they get mad at people and carry them out for screaming ceasefire. Are they not trying to uphold the balance of things when they do so? At what point do we start realizing that they have a legitimate gripe? Whether you believe in the propaganda or not, whether you think that these people are legitimate terrorists or not, at what point in time do you say this is not the way you handle these type of circumstances as it pertains to representing ourselves? At what point? Should that not be taken a look at? Or does it just not matter because of who it's pointed at and who we are as we allow it to happen? I'm sorry, friends. That is not how that worked in any other walk of life. Under any other copy and paste. It doesn't work that way. You set a precedent for things. You set an example for things. And as you do so, others copy you. So you're telling me it's okay to starve out your enemies and kill their children and make fun of their suffering? Because if so, we need to do away with this idea that anything is wrong at that point. Why don't we just spin around in circles and throw shit at each other if that's the case? Where does it stop? Where does it begin? But because it's okay because it's them, right? Come on, man. Stop letting irresponsible leaders coerce you into unprecedented dangers. That's what I'm saying to you. Stop allowing them to do that to you. Whether you believe in this or not, stop letting them have a target pointed at you because of the irresponsibility of their hypocrisy. That is no good. That's bad leadership, friend, regardless of what side of the fence you're on. When you let people hate you, you put a target on your back and the back of your children. That's it. You ain't got to believe that. You ain't got to like it. It's the responsibility of us that know better to say this. Regardless of what side of the spectrum you're on, regardless how you pray or who you think a terrorist is or not, regardless if you believe in propaganda or believe in the supremacy of your people or not, at some point in time, you got to realize this is dangerous for my children and my grandchildren. And if you're if you have any desire to tell yourself you are a good parent, this is where you start with the good parenting. You do not champion people who allow for some to engage in hypocrisy and genocide and various different things, and others to believe that it's wrong to do those same things. You don't do that. Not if you expect to keep your kids safe, not if you expect to have a good name in this world. And you certainly don't follow those who are so childish and full of folly that they will betray this wisdom as they move about in power. You don't. Not if you want to succeed. My name is BDF 44. I thank you all for watching. I'm out.